and guaranteed delicious. Omaha Steaks makes it easy to send friends and family an unforgettable gift guaranteed to be loved and shared. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Sizzle into the search bar and save over 50% when you order the perfect gift package today. For $99.99, you'll get delicious butcher gut top sirloins, chicken breasts, jumbo franks, sides, desserts, and so much more. When you use code Sizzle, you'll not only save over 50%, you'll also get an additional 4 boneless chicken breasts and 4 boneless pork chops free. Achieve gifting greatness and bring friends and family together with the perfect gift package today at omahasteaks.com. Don't forget, you'll get 4 boneless chicken breasts and 4 boneless pork chops free when entering the code Sizzle in the search bar. And for those last-minute shoppers, Omaha Steaks has a new surprise notification available to alert the gift recipient that a gift is on its way. Incredible flavor, incredible value, and 100% guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com. Keyword Sizzle.
Powered by Superbook, now open with better odds and favorable prices. Just before 2 o'clock, I'm Kevin Dexter. No Julius Randle or Kemba Walker for the Knicks in Oklahoma City, and it showed. A season-low 80 points in a 95-80 loss to the Thunder, snapping their 3-game winning streak. Randle sat out due to COVID protocol. Walker has a sore knee. R.J. Barrett, one of just 2 Knicks in double figures. He led the way with 26 in the loss. The Rangers bounced back from their 2-game losing streak with a 4-3 shootout win over the defending champion Lightning in Tampa Bay. Former Lightning Barclay Goodrow scored twice for the Blue Shirts. Mika Zibanejad, the shootout winner. They'll meet again at the Garden on Sunday. The Devils won a wild one, coming from behind to beat the Oilers in overtime 6-5. The Giants won't get Kadarius Toney back for their meeting with the Bears on Sunday. He's been ruled out with a shoulder injury. Saquon Barkley logged another limited practice Friday and has no injury designation. The Jets say Jamison Crowder is doubtful with a calf injury for their game with the Bucs. In the college football playoff, it'll be Alabama and Georgia playing for the national title. Bama blew out Cincinnati 27-6. Georgia all over Michigan 34-11. That's what's happening. I'm Kevin Dexter.
Need a place to talk sports? You've come to the right place. We are CBS Sports Radio, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And away we go, January 1, 2022. Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Mike Chico Borman. I'm with Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan here in Cleveland. Been with you a few times already over the last week or so. It is a pleasure to ring in the new year with you here on CBS Sports Radio. We're coming to you live from the Rocket Mortgage Studios. If you need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family, Rocket can. We've got a lot to get to. Obviously, college football high on that agenda. The semifinals tonight. A lot of overreaction, which look, that's part of being a fan. It's part of talking sports. It's part of the whole sports culture to a degree. But man, oh man, a lot of people are coming out with pitchforks on this New Year's Day, following the semifinals with, well, it's college football. You actually want expansion. You want more of. You're going to have blowouts. I mean, okay, look, this was what, 16. 4 of 16 of the college football semifinals have been decided by 14 points or less. Just 4. And again, neither of these today. Bama beating Cincinnati 27-6. Georgia knocking off Michigan 34-11. So Bama and Georgia will meet in the national championship after meeting up in the SEC title game. Yeah, I know, it's kind of, I understand the fatigue factor a little bit, but I don't understand some of the social media reaction when it comes to, well, you can't have college expansion now because, look, you're just going to get more of this. Hey, you have dominant teams in college football. You have, for that matter, you look at the playoff scenarios in other sports, you're going to have duds in the first round. You're going to have blowouts. The NBA, 1 versus 8. How often is that a great series? It is what it is. And yes, right now you have a dynasty in Alabama, and you'd rather have maybe a little more parity, but say take your hat off to Nick Saban, who this is why I believe when college football coaches, let me rephrase that, successful college football coaches believe the timing's right to go to the NFL. I mean, look, there are some examples, Jimmy Johnson, but by and large, it's a tough transition. If you're on top of that mountain, and I don't, by no means am I saying it's easy once you get there. It's harder to stay on that mountain, on top of that mountain, than it is to get there. But when you've got a good thing going in college sports, in college football, in this case, man, you just reap in the benefits. Don't make a dumb decision. And I realize these guys are challenge motivated, and sometimes it's money. Urban Meyer. But by and large, like these guys that are successful at the college level, doing it at the Division I level, you've got you have the keys to the kingdom. Whether you're, Nick Saban at Alabama, okay, Clemson had an off year with Dabo Swinney, but Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day at Ohio State, and yes, hopefully with expansion, you're going to have, and you will have, some upsets along the way. I don't think you can base these semifinals and the past semifinals as a reason to say, well, no need for expansion because you're just going to have, these blowouts. No, to me, that's poor. That's absolutely poor. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4CBS. You can find me on Twitter at Chico923 The Fan. I host Chico After Dark here in Cleveland, Ohio, Monday through Friday, 7 to midnight. I was telling my producer during the break and before the show, our producer Jack Stern, we got Kevin Dexter on updates this morning, that first of all, when did fireworks become a big deal with New Year's Eve? Did I miss something? I mean, maybe over the years I've been, July 4th, I get it. I'm leaving my house tonight. I've heard more fireworks throughout the neighborhood, and I don't know. I guess I'm used to that. Now, I'm not about not having a good time or anything like that, but it's at least with July 4th, it gets dark out, and say 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, you're lighting off the fireworks. Now, we all know that they go to all hours of the morning, and that can be, but New Year's Eve, like it's midnight, it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know what that does if you have pets, right? Like the pets go crazy, the pets get it. You can celebrate without lighting off the fireworks. I don't get it. If you are lighting off the fireworks, if you are out and about and continuing to enjoy the New Year's Eve festivities and New Year's Day festivities now, please be safe out there. But we would certainly love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you as we bring in the new year here on CBS Sports Radio. So, we have the two semifinal games tonight. Bama beating Cincinnati 27-6. Georgia knocking off Michigan 34-11. I wanted to believe, and I said this last night, that we do not, and it still holds true even with the outcome tonight. We needed to celebrate Cincinnati more than we did going into this game. And it wasn't about okay, can Cincinnati pull this upset? Not many people, if anybody outside of the Queen City, really believe that Cincinnati was capable of pulling the upset. Does that mean they didn't belong there? I don't believe that at all. David versus Goliath, as I was saying yesterday, David versus Goliath is something that we need to appreciate more. We need to embrace more. And just because Cincinnati lost by 21 points to a very good, if not the best team in college football in Alabama, it's not the end of the world. And like I said, it doesn't mean that Cincinnati didn't belong there. It doesn't mean that, you've had powerhouses. Clemson get blown out. You've had Ohio State get blown out in these games. Oklahoma, it happens. Okay? And yes, we're in a world right now where there are dynasties in college sports and right now in college football, and that's been largely dominated by Nick Saban and Alabama. And good for Nick Saban. I kind of like when Nick Saban, he was asked, and, Nick can be a little prickly, right? I mean, he has his moments, the rat poison, and when they were asking him about parity in college football, and he's like, why do we need parity in college football? And he was half joking, but half serious. He's like, hey, we work our tails off. If you want to get to our level, work harder, recruit better. And he's right. The answer isn't, we can't expand college football. What if we get more blow-up? I mean, come on. That's your reason for not wanting to expand college football to, say, a 12-team playoff? But Cincinnati getting blown out in this game, and you could tell early on. I mean, Cincinnati's response following the 11-play drive that Bama had to open up was nice. And then you saw that timeout by Nick Saban, and it was like, all right, let's get settled here. And then they end up holding Cincinnati to a field goal. And from that moment on, it was, this is going to be Brian Robinson, more Brian Robinson, and even more Brian Robinson. And the thing, we went into this game, and as we often do when we're breaking down, football games, whether it be NFL, collegiately, but I think more at the collegiate level, where we are so focused on the skill guys. And, going into this game, you heard a lot of, well, Alabama's without John Mechie, but Jameson Williams is still a stud, and you've got the Cincinnati Bearcats. What a great secondary, and they still have a great secondary even after tonight. And Ahmad Gardner, Sauce Gardner, and Kobe Bryant. And then it's kind of reality hits that, where was that game won tonight? You can look at it, both of these games tonight. It was won in the trenches. Alabama was blowing Cincinnati off the football. You could match up sometimes with skill guys. You can have the speed. You can have the athleticism. But ultimately, when you're talking about the depth of a roster and the talent of a roster, when you start getting down to the, outside of just the skill guys, and I'm not saying that all the skill guys are created equal, but oftentimes it's, oh, wait a minute, where's the big discrepancy? It's in those trenches. And you saw Alabama just absolutely, blow UC off the ball. Brian Robinson, and good for him. He's had a rough year with injuries, and he's waited his turn behind a cupboard filled with great backs at Alabama. And he waited his turn, was kind of banged up, was kind of limited in that SEC title game. Granted, they didn't need him because Bama and Bryce Young threw all over Georgia's secondary. More on that in a moment. But Brian Robinson was outstanding tonight. And I'm curious and I'm anxious to see him, full go against this Georgia team coming up on January the 9th for the national championship. He was outstanding. The line was outstanding. And that's one of those things that you just, man, you can scheme, you can try to do this, you can try to do that. But when it comes right down to it, when it's hat on hat, muscle, in the trenches, and your guy versus that guy across from you, and just winning that battle. If you can't win that battle, and it was evident early on that Cincinnati was unable to win that battle, it was going to be a long night, and it was. They lost 27-6. But I don't want to hear this BS about Cincinnati didn't belong there. Cincinnati did what they had to do to get in there. Could other teams have won throughout the season and made it less likely that they got in? Sure, and they didn't do that. Cincinnati, they knocked off Notre Dame, and there was that groundswell of support. It's funny because there was the groundswell of support to get him in there, and then once they get in there and we have the matchup all set, over the last few days, it's said, I don't know